I'm gonna enact my vice chair stuff
Okay.
and call our meeting to order. This is the monthly commission meeting for October.
All righty. So thank you everybody who is joining us for the uh, October meeting, almost a October meeting of the Commission on Human Relations. For those of you out there who aren't familiar, maybe you were stumbling around City Channel. The Commission on Human Relations is the organization that is tasked with enforcing civil rights laws here in the city of Pittsburgh. And we work in the areas of employment and housing, city services, and also public access and public accommodation. This is our mandatory monthly meeting, and our vice chair has called us to order, and I will go to share my screen so we can all see the agenda here. Hopefully. There we go. All right.
First up, we have the meeting minutes from September's meeting. Did everyone have a chance to review them? And does anyone have any questions or amendments? If not, may I have a motion to accept the meeting minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Thank you. All in favor of accepting the meeting minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The motion carries.
Can you make the agenda typeface, the font a little bit larger for old people?
Maybe you can just zoom in there a little bit, Chris.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
Yes, I can.
Perfect.
There we go.
Perfect. Thank you.
Perfect.
Yep.
Next up, we have public comment. Is there anyone on for public comment?
Public commenters? Anyone? All right. Hearing no one from the digital end, here in the conference room, and I don't see anybody, so
All right.
no public comments.
Seems that there's no public comment today. Next up, we'll have committee reports. Do we have someone from the finance committee who can provide a report? Is Carlene? I thought she was on, maybe. Possibly.
I'll be on one of the committee. I'm just a newbie, but I will say that even though we got everything that we wanted in the budget in terms of the basic staff, we're going to have to put our heads together in terms of things that were not covered by the city budget. The additional positions were not awarded to us, and it makes us want to revisit the contract with the federal government because that is a source of revenue. So I know that Rachel is talking with the City of Pittsburgh Legal Counsel about the federal contract that she was given. So once that's done, I think that the committee will get back together to look at what the budget looks like, what other sources that we're going to need to make sure that we get all the things that we want to do, and then report back to the full commission.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Morris, for that update. In personnel, do we have an update from the personnel committee? Kyle, have we made any progress on the review?
No, that's a massive ball drop at me. I have a form. I will be honest with you guys. I don't know how to do a survey. That's the issue. And I was going back and forth with HR for the city. If anyone knows how to just do like SurveyMonkey, just teach me. So reach out and teach me, and we should be good. But I have the questions. I have all that stuff going. I just need to know how to like actually circulate it.
Okay. If we have anyone who can help Commissioner Webster with this circulating, please mention in the chat or reach out to him directly.
And the city does not have a survey system, just so people know, because I was trying to find something. But yeah, thanks.
All right, thank you. there any other personnel updates or is that it?
I'd just like to add that since this is also a personnel matter, given the city's circumstances, as Commissioner Morris had said, we were informed that the city is not planning to add new positions for the Commission on Human Relations. They're not planning to add new positions anywhere right now. We are fortunate in that currently the main physical change in terms of personnel for the city is that there will be a hiring freeze, but there will not be any terminations in the short term. And so because we have all of our positions, that means there's not going to be any changes here. Other departments aren't going to fare as well, but we were fortunate in having everything filled. So I don't see that changing anytime in the near future.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone else have anything else to add, or we can move on to community relations?
If I remember, the Community Relations Committee meeting last week was really about the kerfuffle with the city council over the housing amendment that actually got straightened out and smoothed over. Am I right about that, Chris, or no?
Yeah, that's correct. Folks who tuned into last week's meetings may have seen that there was additional kerfuffle. I spoke with Councilmember, I would say Councilmember Shortland, Councilmember Coghill, and Councilmember Cale Smith after that, and everything seems to be fine now. There was a miscommunication, I think, between everybody. And after having sat down and spoken with them, I've maintained the belief throughout my life that if you treat people like they're rational and intelligent and like they have valid concerns, then they will act that way. And I sat down with both of them and we had an open conversation and everything seems to be fine now. They brought some points forward that I think were completely valid. As I said, I think that there was a misunderstanding, but what they had to say struck me in a certain way, and I appreciate what their perspective was. They shared with me on why they were upset with why things went the way they did in our initial meeting. And so, as I said, seems to be fine now.
And this
I
is
don't need
into the housing status, right?
what's that?
The housing status protection, is that what we're talking about?
Yes, yeah. It was the conversations around that.
Yeah, I know there's been a lot of different conversations about various housing issues, and so I just wanted to clarify for the record that it was
Yeah.
the housing status protection.
Which passed 9-0. So we now we've worked on some guidance for that we're going to start sending out to interested parties.
Yeah, that's great work on that. I know you and Rachel put in a lot of effort, and it's really good that you took the time to get a 9 and 0. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any
Yeah.
other updates for community relations?
No.
All right, then I will pass it over to Chris, who is filling in for Rachel today with the director's report.
Yep. Sorry, 1 second here. My phone binged on me. All right. All right, so we got some new guidance from HUD in terms of the contract for 2025, 2026. As of right now, we are continuing to receive our complaints as usual, and the main change here for us administratively is that we're going to start dual filing more of our complaints to cover protections that continue to be covered under our guidelines, used to be covered under HUD's guidelines, but are no longer covered under HUD's guidelines. We did have a meeting with Deputy Mayor Jake Pollock about all of the changes that are going on and potential hurdles that might come down the road with our federal partners. So they're aware of that now, and hopefully, if there are changes coming, it won't come as so much of a surprise. The mayor's preliminary budget was released on September 30th, as we discussed. We weren't granted any of our budgetary requests, but nobody was, as I had said before. So there will be no cuts either, which, so the pain will be limited at least. And we had the unanimous vote on the housing status stuff. So that was good. And just to clarify for folks, as I said, who may be tuning in and aren't familiar, what the new protection does is it covers housing status, past or present, as a protected status for housing, which means that nobody can take into consideration any past lapses in your housing history, or the fact that maybe you're just starting out with housing on your own, or that you have you're trying to come out of a shelter situation, anything else like that. As long as you have the other means to be able to obtain this housing status cannot be used against you. I know that there's been a lot of misunderstanding about this and what it is, as there often are with a lot of our protections. I think sometimes people think that it means that someone's getting something they're not. They are not. It's just eliminating a barrier. So in terms of case enforcement, we have 60 open investigations currently. That's up 8 since September. We are seeing a lot of traffic, one-way traffic, coming from our federal partners to us in terms of cases that are being assigned over. Our average number of cases per investigator has increased substantially in terms of both intakes and the cases that are ready to go, that are past intake, that we've taken on. We actually are down one intake, but that's mostly because of pending intake, rather. But that's mostly because of the efforts that are being put forward by our staff, and everyone's adjusted very well to these new circumstances. And I definitely want to give a shout out to all of our investigators and Kevin and everybody who's been working on this. We have 15 cases right now that are awaiting response and assignment. That's up 13 since September. So that's where you really see the federal increase reflected. We have 9 pending mandatory conciliations. That's up 1. 5 cases in court currently, which is no change, and 2 cases that are on the public hearing track, which also is not a change from our prior check-in. And yeah. I was a bit confused there for a second, because I was like 11 determinations for compliance review, but we have 11 determinations. A lot of those, however, are mediations and settlements. So, it's not stuff that currently needs a decision. It just needs an approval. And we have scheduled our meeting with Marlene Van Nelson and Trellis Legal to discuss commercial property protections here in the next week. Again, for anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about there, that would be extending a lot of our housing protections over to commercial property, so that way folks couldn't be discriminated against on folks who are trying to find a place to rent out for a shop or for a business, or trying to buy a place for a shop or a business, couldn't be discriminated against along the lines where we already have protections. We reached out to Brashear Association to discuss collaboration on their employment and youth programs. And we had a meeting with Councilmember Mosley to discuss our housing status protections. And we had a meeting with Councilmember Strasburger to talk about some proposals that she's going to put forward for us in terms of clarifying the section of our section of the city code. That is going to be going up next week, so look forward to that. I would say that these are greatly needed updates, because there's a lot of stuff in the code that it's old layers of paint. No one, we haven't stripped the paint down for a lot of years, and so things keep getting added and added and added and added and added until now we have 15 different layers of paint under one that is the one that we want to show. And so if we can strip that down, make things less complicated, that way we don't have to do as much work whenever we have to tinker with the code in the future. That's wonderful. Then on top of that, with what we're seeing at the federal level right now, with everything that's going on, it really behooves us to be able to future-proof a lot of our code, and make it more resilient against attacks that are coming from Washington. That includes our disparate impact protections that we have, which the federal government no longer guarantees and will no longer enforce, as well as the protections that we have that differ in substantive ways from what's offered at the federal level. So that's the two main jobs that we're trying to accomplish with that. And we've met with Rachel met with Jamil Kirk at CCAC Allegheny regarding their ethnic and diversity studies program, and we're exploring some collaboration with them. That includes appearances at classes and outreach. Yes, Rabbi.
That's Jamal Craig, just so you know.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. And we discussed potential next steps with Stand for All Pittsburgh with former Commissioner Liddy Barlow, and that those discussions specifically centered around community tension as it relates to hate and bias outreach that the group is conducting. Outreach and education, we did tabling at the Eradicate Hate Summit. We had a tabling at Government Community Leadership Day that was downstairs. We were at Disability Pride. Thank you, Commissioner Oslo, for stopping by for that. And Rachel attended the State of Black Pittsburgh event. Thank you, Commissioner Morris, for bringing us on board for that. So, housing status passed under our current long-term projects. Commercial property is soon to be introduced, and our code protections will be moving forward. Says the 7th year, but I believe they'll actually be moving forward. They'll be introduced this week, but actually moving forward the week following. And upcoming events, Outfest is going to be on Saturday. It's going to be from 3 to 8. So anybody who can attend that's going to be at Hazelwood Green. We would really appreciate anyone who can help us out with that. We have illegal protections for survivors of domestic violence at home and at work. That's going to be October 30th at K&L Gates. And building a beloved community, Pitt and PHRC, is going to be November 17th from 9 to 6. Honestly, I'm not entirely sure what that's about. We'll have to ask Rachel, but okay, we have that's it.
All right.
All right.
So that brings us up to, also, in case anyone, because you've mentioned former Commissioner Barlow, in case anyone was thinking of joining the Love Anyway Feast, that's going to be happening on October 22nd. And that's going to be at the Pittsburgh Theological Seminary. So if anyone would like to attend, I know she'd be happy to see you.
Yes, Rabbi, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I have a procedural question, not about our meeting. A procedural question is, since there are multiple agencies that often cover the same territory, can somebody file a case with our commission and with the EEOC? Or excuse me, and with HUD, or an employment situation? They were fired incorrectly or they were prejudiced. Can they file with us and EEOC, or is it one or the other?
How that works, for the time being anyway, is that they would file a case with either us or EEOC. And then that case can be dual filed because we have a work share agreement, but it's only being investigated by one of the two. And so if it's within our jurisdiction, we investigate it. If it's not within our jurisdiction, then we would pass it up to EEOC. There are some questions, to be honest, about how long that arrangement's going to hold as they continue to push on local agencies to abandon protections that are not in the federal guidance. But for the time being, that is how that works.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
All right. So does anyone have any other old business or new business? We'll just lump them together. Does anyone have any old business first? All right, then we will move on to new business. It looks like this little A means that we're going to be having an in-person meeting, doesn't it?
Yep. November commission meeting will be at Hugh Lane on the north side. So,
and do we have the time
Yeah.
schedule? Is that going to be in the evening, or is it going to be meeting?
Usually we start those in the evening. Yeah. So that would be that's when I would anticipate.
All right. So be on the lookout for an update on that November meeting, and if you can attend in person, that's always nice to see you. Does anyone else have any other new business before we adjourn?
Chris, do we have, I know last meeting and in community relations at least, we talked about the gentleman out in Homewood who's alleging some difficulty with the police. Have there been any further discussions with him in regards to a community meeting or anything of that nature?
Not that I'm aware of since last week. I don't think that I think what we had talked about at last week's community relations meeting is as far as it's gotten to this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that we should be extremely careful here. A community meeting at this particular time might be difficult for us to handle, and we really need to think it through because there are a number of competing issues in that community that have nothing to do with the points that the gentleman was attempting to raise.
Richard, are you saying that a meeting could be hijacked for an agenda other than within our docket?
Yes,
Thank you.
yes. He's not interested in issues regarding discrimination and human relations. What he's focusing on is building his organization and having the capacity to interact with the police as a bigger player than he is. I can't run out in the street and say, Genevieve told me that you can tell me who's the domestic violence case. You know, Genevieve would be like, "Are you crazy?" Um, he wants to have that type of ability. We don't offer it.
All right. Any other new business?
I want to publicly thank Kevin for giving me 183 pages of light reading. Section coming up next. I made it through it all, but thanks a lot.
Yes, that's true. Okay, then if we don't have any other new business and nothing else to discuss, then let's move to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And the meeting is adjourned.